your experience with your friend whose dad made that statement. You
Yeah.
said that you guys have become really close since that time. So I'm so interested to hear from that moment where you had that heartbreak, right? To when you confronted your friend, because you didn't really go into that much about the conversation of when you confronted your friend and how that went. I'm very curious about how that conversation went and if your friend evolved racially from that moment, or even if he took on anything from his dad, if you've seen that, if you've seen his evolution in any way, like all of that I'm interested in.
Yeah, so the moment where I was outside of the lockers and eavesdropping on the conversation, that moment is kind of seared into my brain, into my memory. The conversation afterwards, not so much. I just remember, kind of confronting him about it and asking him about it, and then him saying, "Oh yeah, my dad cleared it up and said, that you would have been allowed, that you didn't fit the other criteria kind of thing." And that was basically about it. Like, yeah, that one isn't like as cemented into my memory, but afterwards, yeah, we just kind of, let that, bygone be bygone, I guess, and just move past it. And he ended up being a roommate of mine many years later, and we had a conversation, late one night about how our friendship kind of developed. And he said then that one of the things was that he kind of wanted to push past all of the stuff that he'd kind of grown up hearing about people of different races, about different cultures and whatnot. And so he kind of set out rather purposefully and consciously to pursue this friendship because one, he genuinely, enjoyed me, but also because I was sort of disproving all of these narratives that he'd grown up hearing before. And so he kind of wanted to pursue that and see were the things that he'd learned also false, and is there kind of more to the story than what his dad and uncles and the older men in his life had kind of taught him to believe.
And what is your perception of his like journey like at this stage, like in 2024? Do you feel like he's gotten to the point where he's released those beliefs, that he doesn't see you as an exception, but rather he recognizes everyone's equal humanity?
I think there, from other conversations that we've had, there are still some lingering things, particularly in regards to indigenous people, and he does still have a lot of sympathies for people that hold kind of anti-immigrant beliefs, where he's like, I get where they're coming from, though. Like, I no longer believe that stuff, but it's understandable. And I don't necessarily get the impression that he's, doing a lot of challenging when he hears those conversations being had out in the world.
I see, I see. And do you feel as his friend that you have some responsibility to encourage him to challenge that, or to uh, challenge himself to challenge that?
Uh, you know what? I don't. I don't. Maybe I should.
I mean,
Um,
there's no should. I'm curious. This is a curiosity. So, you could reflect on on that yourself and decide whether you should
yeah.
or shouldn't. But I just wanted to make sure that that's not me like suggesting, something. I'm just curious. Like, I know that for myself, um, I've definitely had to leave friendships behind, even recently.
Yeah.
From people who were not really on board with what I'm doing here with the Contraband Wagon. I mean, all I'm doing is having conversations, and I had to literally leave people behind just because of that, because they weren't on board with me doing this. In fact, even my own family members, many of them were not really encouraging when I started this. They were more like concerned for my safety.
Mm-hmm.
They were all worried. Like, that was pretty much the exclusive reaction that I received from friends and family. It was so discouraging, to be honest, when I first started this over 4 years ago now. But it's very interesting to watch what happens over those 4 years, Jose, because some of those people who I had to kind of in my mind kind of drop, they're now supporting me. They're now supporting the show. But it took them years, right?
Yeah.
Years of me doing the works, them eventually getting curious enough to investigate what I'm doing, finding value in it, and then finally choosing to support me. My friendship definitely wasn't enough. So it's just interesting to see how friendships evolve. Maybe you'll reflect upon it. Maybe you'll decide that should be a part of your friendship. Maybe he'll decide on his own to do it. You know, you never know. So I feel like individuals we should be on a continuous path of growth. I think should be. That is something I think we should be. And we in fact are, you know, whether we're growing in the right direction or not is, you know, a question that we all have to decide for ourselves. But I really think relationships are the same way. Relationships evolve, relationships change, relationships grow, relationships become stale, relationships decompose, they come back, they get revitalized, you know, things happen. So just reflect upon where your relationships are and what you're doing in the race context. And thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support and see you next time.